Mary had a little lamb.
We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
It's Friday.
Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street. Oh!
She's quick, man. She's quick on those chucks. Very quick. She's wearing heels, actually. She was quick on the heels. Amazeballs. She was in Wisconsin yesterday. She got heckled by Trump supporters, and she was prepared, man. She was ready to go. No, you guys. Oh, you're at the wrong rally. I think you meant the tiny one down the street is where you need to go. And if they were Trump supporters, they probably just left, because that's what they do. They go to rallies and they yell inconceivable, things, and then they leave, is what it is. Just yell out anything. Just go ahead. But she's sharpened her wit, I guess. She did so well at that rally, but her rallies are getting bigger. His are getting smaller. He's canceling. He's exhausted. He's tired. He's a tired, old, dancing man. Now, if you want to call that dancing, I don't know. Bill Clinton was hysterical in his very subdued Bill Clinton old man way, because Bill Clinton is now a subdued old man who's running for absolutely nothing and has decided that he's going to go out on the campaign trail for Kamala Harris. Actually went and joined Tim Walz on the campaign trail, as they call it, in North Carolina to celebrate the first day of early voting in North Carolina, and pointed out to everybody that was there that he's about 2 months younger. Bill Clinton, who was already a 2-time president, successful one, paid. He's the only president in my lifetime that balanced the budget. Do you know that? We had no deficit. Do you understand that? Yeah, balanced the budget, did all that, and, actually reigned over 22 million new jobs created in his economy. Now, he did a lot of things I'm not, happy about. A lot of things. It's kind of called compromise, I guess. He ruined my business, that's for sure. Deregulated, the radio, deregulated it so that, you could now... it was like you could own, I think, 1 AM or 2 AMs, because AMs were, crap. It's where I worked. But you could own, I think, 2 AMs and an FM in one market. Like, let's say it was Miami or New York or West Palm Beach or it didn't matter what size it was. Size does matter, though. And so instead of doing that, he took the ownership rules and just, threw them out the window and said, you can own as much as you can afford to buy. You could just, and so then you had people coming in and it was buy or be bought. And, the people with money, the people with, venture capital, the people who were able to put together, multi-million dollar deals, they ended up buying every single radio station. And you had kind of like now, how you have 5 people owning all the shelves and every grocery that's on those shelves and deciding, these 5 people, what is on the shelves? Yeah. So that's what happened with radio. You actually had like 5 companies. Used to have, thousands of companies. Now they were like 5. And then it became the Dark Star. It just became, Clear Channel. And then they became iHeart. And they owned all the radio stations and all the concert venues and all the ticket sales, apps. What could go wrong there? Suddenly, concert tickets were, $1,000? Yeah, and they control the playlist, so they decided who would get to be the $1,000 ticket that you really wanted. Yeah, and so, he did do that. But he did a lot of, really cool things, like was friendly to me, which I thought was way cool. And actually listen to me tell that story to him over and over and over and over and over again. Yep, I did. But anyway, so he's like, I'm 2 months younger, okay, than Donald Trump. And, you just don't see me swaying and dancing in the music room at the assisted living now, do you? No.
I don't know how many more elections I'll be involved with, and I'm too old to gild the lily. Heck, I'm only 2 months younger than Donald Trump. But good news for you is I will not spend 30 minutes swaying back and forth to you. I played enough music, I will not clap off beat. Nor will I pretend to be a conductor. Because we got a race to win.
Yeah.
And we have to win it. I've been doing this a long, long time, and I can honestly say that this time I am not here running for anything anymore except for my grandchildren's future.
Still got it. I'm sorry, he still does. He still got it. He still knows just how to talk to people. He knows just how to explain the lay of the land in a minute. In under a minute. Really, it's pretty incredible. But listen, compare Bill Clinton and his age to what Donald Trump did yesterday at the Al Smith dinner that celebrates. It's held by the Archdiocese of New York. It's a Catholic. White tie dinner that's held every single year. And Donald Trump has turned it into, ever since, 2015, or 2016, I guess, when it was Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump at the dinner where, Hillary Clinton told good-natured jokes. And Donald Trump, makes these vile, insulting, not funny, jokes and says, I don't care if it's comedy. I came here to insult you. I mean, he had one good joke. He had one good one at the beginning. He said something about, we're here and I'm supposed to, be self-deprecating. That's right. You're supposed to be self-deprecating. That means you are the butt of the joke. Okay? But he said, so he delivered it kind of badly. But the joke, if he would have just paused like a half second, could have really, could have played. Because he said, so I'm here and I'm supposed to make, a lot of self-deprecating jokes. Yeah, I got nothing. See what the pause does for that joke? It makes the joke funny, right? But he was reading it off of a card. This is a man who claims he doesn't need a teleprompter. He was screaming for a teleprompter last night. He needed a teleprompter. He wanted a teleprompter. I had to have a teleprompter because he's reading off of a card, okay, off of a card. And it went really poorly. And also because he didn't even try to be funny, okay?
Bill de Blasio was actually able to make it tonight, to be honest. He was a terrible mayor. I don't give a if this is comedy or not. He was a terrible mayor. He did a horrible job.
Ha ha. That's so much fun. Yeah, he's just a vile, insulting oaf anymore, So let's make him irrelevant again. Can we please do that? We have what? Starting next week will be 2 weeks, 14 days by next Tuesday. Okay, we're in the teens now. Early voting has started just about everywhere except not here, not in Florida yet. The 26th of October. Yeah, I'll be the first in line. I really will. But can we do that?
All things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
when we all watched Trump awkwardly swaying to songs like Nothing Compares to You and Hallelujah for nearly 40 minutes at a Pennsylvania town hall. But what was happening before this senior moment is that he actually took 5 questions from an audience members.
Look at Christina.
And even in a room full of supporters, it wasn't going too well. He gave long, rambly answers, talked about Hannibal Lecter when asked about inflation, and even told everyone to go vote on January 5th, as per usual. So, it's not totally out of the realm of possibility that he took a handful of questions, realized he couldn't handle it, and just decided to bail and instead just burn 40 minutes zoning out and playing some of his favorite tunes. And it seems like he and his team are somewhat aware that he's struggling. I mean, it would probably explain, right, why he's backed out of numerous interviews this month alone. First 60 Minutes, then CNBC's Squawk Box, and just today, the NRA canceled an event where he was set to be the keynote speaker due to, quote, campaign scheduling changes. And CNN's Brian Stelter is reporting that he also backed out of another interview that was in the works with NBC News on the economy.
Oh, God.
Because unlike Vice President Harris last night, he's incapable of taking hard questions. Most days, he can't even give a coherent answer to softballs, even at a friendly town hall.
Yep, that is what's going on with him. And today, one of his staffers actually let it rip and said the reason why he's canceling all these events is because he's exhausted, meaning he just can't find an answer to a difficult question. He just, apparently the exhaustion plus the weave equals dementia. I don't know. I don't know, but he has canceled just about everything after he embarrassed himself so severely at that Bloomberg town hall where, Micklethwaite, I think his last name is, the editor of Bloomberg's, news, was asking him questions about the economy, and Donald Trump couldn't answer any of them. He was just talking about tariffs and telling this guy you've been wrong your whole life and insulting him, which is what Donald Trump always defaults to when he doesn't have an answer for a difficult question. He just insults you. Tells you to go home to mommy, or you're an idiot, or you always ask stupid questions, stupid. It was interesting listening to The Spin on Kamala's interview on Fox News. At first, they didn't, the very first thing when Brit Hume and Brett Baier, right after the interview aired, they had a panel with Brit Hume and Brett Baier and what's-her-face, who used to work at the White House. And they were all saying how Kamala Harris was very prepared. Kamala Harris won the night. Brett Baier was saying, listen, she wanted to, have a viral moment, and I think she got it. Yes, courtesy of you playing, half a clip and trying to pass it off as Trump's entire comment about, the enemy within, you lying and trying to set her up and trying to piss her off. But, everybody's going, oh, she was too angry. I don't like, when a presidential candidate... Do you remember Donald Trump calling every single solitary female reporter that he ever encountered, from Yamiche Alcindor to any White House reporter, anybody that was, he would sit there and say, Caitlin Collins, he said it to her too. You ask stupid questions. I watch you a lot. You always ask stupid questions. Well, she was shocked that I called on her. Are you going to ask a question? Excuse me? Excuse me? I mean, he was so mean to every single female reporter. But for some reason, when Kamala Harris is being gaslit by Brett Baier, and she said, that is not the clip. That is not what he has been saying about the enemy within. All of a sudden, she's too angry. I think that's, a Y chromosome playing its little tricks on you, where you have a completely separate, judger, a completely separate, ideology about, when a woman says, hey, back off, jerk. And when a man says, you're stupid, you're always stupid, you ask stupid questions, one is okay. And the other one, she's just too angry, too angry. But anyway, Trump is giving like these really strange responses to even friendly audiences, even at what's-her-face's town hall. Faulkner, Harris Faulkner, even at her town hall, which was packed with Republican women who were the president of Republican women from Peoria or Republican women from Wisconsin or Republican women from, right? And he still couldn't deal with them. One of the women stood up and said, why is the government involved in abortion? Like, why are you doing this? And when that question became, a little difficult for Donald Trump to answer, right? Harris Faulkner said, well, Amber, you have to watch this. I don't know. You could probably see it on YouTube on the rerun. But Harris Faulkner started going, Amber Thurman, who died. Amber Thurman is a young, beautiful girl who left a 6-year-old boy behind. She's from Georgia, and she died. She died because she wasn't able to get medical attention in Georgia because of the 6-week ban and had to travel to another state. And by the time she got there, she was so septic that she died. She died. Remember her parents, her mom and her 2 sisters, gorgeous family, were on a Kamala Harris did a town hall, and they were part of the town hall, and they told the story of Amber Thurman. This is what Harris Faulkner had to say about her.
Amber Thurman's family have come out on a press call, and they're doing what's called a pre-buttal 2-hour town hall right now.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah? And I want to
get better ratings, I promise.
A young girl is dead. A 6-year-old boy has no mother because of something Donald Trump did. He put 3 Supreme Court justices on the court who did exactly as intended. They overturned the federal protections of Roe v. Wade, the guarantee for women across this nation that before viability, they could get medical care for abortion, they could get medical care for a pregnancy that had gone sideways, they could live another day to try again. Most women who have abortions are already moms, okay? And their attitude about Amber, she organized, her family organized a press call. They're doing a pre-buttal to this town hall. Well, I bet we get better ratings. You know who got the better ratings this week? You know who got like the biggest ratings? Kamala Harris on Fox News. 7 million people tuned in to watch Bret Baier lie and make a fool of himself. 7 million people. Donald Trump, 2 million. Kamala Harris tripled the ratings just by showing up on Fox News. And it's because they do things like this. They mock a dead person. They mock a person who died because of something Donald Trump did. It's like 1 million people dead from COVID. Oh, so what? It's a hoax. Oh my God. I just... It's so sick. It's it's sad.
Call in, connect. To speak to Randi, call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
get this question because I believe that's what this is about.
Oh, I want to talk about IVF. I'm the father.
You don't hear that every day.
I'm the father of IVF, so I want to hear this question.
What?
Now, seriously. So, first of all, no, Donald, everybody did not want Roe v. Wade to be overturned. Women are dying of sepsis because they cannot get the health care they need. They did not want this. Couples just trying to grow their family are being cut off in the middle of IVF treatments. They did not want this. And now, it just gets more unbelievable sometimes.
It does.
And now the man calls himself the father of IVF? What does that even mean? And in all of that, well, he is the one who, by the way, is responsible for it being at risk in the first place. And what is sadly interesting, I think, is that when you listen to Donald Trump talk, it becomes increasingly clear, I think, he has no idea what he's talking about.
Just say it. Just say it. Why is everyone afraid to say the emperor has no clothes? That's all she's doing, is pointing out what is so obvious to everybody in the Republican Party, to every voter in this country, to every rally goer, whether you go to her rallies or his rallies, whether you watch them on TV or you listen to them on the radio. It is patently obvious that Donald Trump has no idea what he's talking about, no matter what he's talking about, no matter what he's talking about. He doesn't know what tariffs are. He thinks tariffs are paid by China. Tariffs on Chinese imports are paid by the importer, who then passes it on to you. So it's a tax that you will pay. Now, in the extreme case of one of his tariffs, when he actually put tariffs on soybeans, China agricultural products that come from China, China retaliated, as they do, and they put an export tax on American soybeans going into China and broke the markets that American farmers had built over years and years and years of hard work. I think the number was $27 billion worth of exports totally halted, okay? Just didn't make it into China anymore. And then we had to actually give subsidies to those farmers for a bad policy that Donald Trump wanted. So the taxpayers paid for the subsidy to the farmers, and the farmers didn't even want it. They were like, we don't want this freaking subsidy. We want our markets back. What the hell is he doing? What is he doing? He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And it's dangerous. And now that he's slipping into, I don't know, unhinged mental, lacking mental acuity, declining mental health. I don't even know what you want to call it. But, his brain is, it's worse than it was. And it was never good. It was never good. He was telling you to what if we could take the light from outside the body and put it inside the body? What you see the effect of disinfectant. It kills it in a second. What if we could put it inside the lungs where it does a number? What the hell is he talking about? Okay, and now it's worse because now it's what, 10 years later? Almost. And he really doesn't know what he's talking about, okay? He really doesn't know. But what's really disgusting is that when a voter in a friendly place, I mean, he did this town hall with Harris Faulkner, and a voter, a Republican lady voter, asked him, why is the government involved in my reproductive life? He had no answer for her, okay? And then he went to the Univision thing, and one of the voters, I think his name was, I know what his name was, I wrote it down because I was shocked and stunned, but he was a Trump voter. His name was Ramiro Gonzalez, I think. Yes, Ramiro Gonzalez. And he said, listen, I'm going to give you a chance to win back my vote. To win back my vote. I want you to tell me why you didn't do anything on January 6th when the Capitol was being attacked. Okay, he didn't ask him whether or not he incited it. He didn't ask him, to get nebulous about it. He said, why didn't you do anything? Why did you sit there? And today, this is really, it's kind of a non-story, I think. So Judge Chutkan in the New York, in the January 6th documents case in D.C., not New York, D.C., Judge Chutkan actually decided that she was going to release the appendix, I don't know, of the file that she has regarding Donald Trump and the January 6th case. Most of everything she released today was so redacted you can't even make sense of it. Everything was just about redacted, okay? What you did get to see was just some information that clearly showed what Donald Trump was doing during January 6th. He was sitting, and it's not news. I mean, we've known this because Liz Cheney and, Adam Kinzinger and Schiff and Jamie Raskin. They had the Zoe Lofgren. They were phenomenal. The January 6th Select Committee, right? And so we got to hear the backstory of what he was doing that day, and we know that he was sitting off the Oval Office in the White House dining room, drinking Diet Cokes and watching the debacle unfold on TV and tweeting at key moments that Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what needed to be done. And then you could see the result of that was hang Mike Pence, right? So we know that. So that was released today. So we know this. We know he was drinking Diet Cokes, watching it on the TV. And this man who was attending the Univision town hall asked him, can you explain that and win back my vote?
I want to give you the opportunity to try to win back my vote. What happened during January 6th and the fact that, you waited so long to take action while your supporters were attacking the Capitol. If you would answer these questions for me, I would really appreciate it and give you the opportunity. Your own vice president doesn't want to support you now.
Thank you, Ramiro. So the people that don't support, a very small portion. Very importantly, you had hundreds of thousands of people come to Washington. They didn't come because of me. They came because of the election. They thought the election was a rigged election. Nothing done wrong at all. Nothing done wrong. And action was taken, strong action. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. There were no guns down there. We didn't have guns. The others had guns, but we didn't have guns. That was a day of love from the standpoint of the millions. It's like hundreds of thousands.
His face. Did you see the audience's face? Like, as nobody had guns, nobody was killed. It was a day of love. I mean, they were all sitting there going, oh, crap. He just lost everyone's vote in that room, trying to win it back.
This is the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
Very importantly, you had hundreds of thousands of people come to Washington. They didn't come because of me. They came because of the election. They thought the election was a rigged election, and that's why they came. Some of those people went down to the Capitol. I said peacefully and patriotically, nothing done wrong at all, nothing done wrong. And action was taken, strong action. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. There were no guns down there. We didn't have guns. The others had guns, but we didn't have guns. And when I say we, these are people that walked down. This was a tiny percentage of the overall, which nobody sees and nobody shows. But that was a day of love from the standpoint of the millions. It's like hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
You may have seen I went on Fox News. Doing that, Donald Trump was at a Univision town hall where a voter asked him about January 6th. Okay, so now we here know January 6th was a tragic day. It was a day of terrible violence. There were attacks on law enforcement. 140 law enforcement officers were injured. Some were killed. And what did Donald Trump say last night about January 6th? He called it a, quote, a day of love. But it points out something that everyone here knows. The American people are exhausted with his gaslighting. Exhausted with his gaslighting. Enough! We are ready to turn the page. Turn the page. We're done.
We're done. We need to make that man irrelevant again. That is what we need to do. Now, you could play him saying what he said. I played it twice. I played it with a split screen. I played it when he said it to Mr. Gonzalez. I played it, yesterday. You could play it 80,000 times. If a maggot, if somebody who is indoctrinated, if somebody who is, into the doublespeak, if somebody who has been gaslighted hears it, they will actually say, what we are saying is bullcrap. What he is saying, he never said. It's unnerving. But the good news is Donald Trump is running out of gas. Donald Trump is getting tired. The person that Donald Trump is exhausting the fastest and the most is not Kamala Harris. It's not Tim Walz. It's not me. It's not Joe Biden. It's not our Secretary of State. It's not Anthony Blinken. And it's not you. It's him. He is exhausted. This is what his staff said after people started asking, why is he canceling everything, in which it would require somebody who had a very, a good grasp on the issues. Right? He'll do a rally in a small town now. I mean, he'll be in Michigan today doing, I don't know if he'll dance and sway. I don't know if he'll bail out. I don't know if he'll do the, hey, I got, two guys over here. I don't know what that is, but, whatever. I don't know what he's going to do with it. But I know that there will be no questions. I know that there will be no plans that he will elucidate, because he doesn't have any, about, how he's going to, conduct himself as president, whether or not he'll bring 60% tariffs or 10% tariffs or 20% tariffs, because tariffs is his favorite word now. He loves a tariff, which is a tax on you, a tax on me. Okay, that's what it is. But he has no health care plan. He has no elder care plan. He has no student loan plan. He has no ACA plan. He has nothing. He has no earthly idea about the way forward for this country. None whatsoever. So he can't answer questions anymore. So he might show up at a rally, but he's definitely not going to answer any questions anymore.
I've been hearing reports that his team at least is saying he's suffering from exhaustion. And that's apparently the excuse for why he's not doing interviews. And of course, he's not doing the CNN town hall. He refuses to do another debate. And, look, being president of the United States is probably one of the hardest jobs in the world. Yeah. And so we really do need to ask if he's exhausted being on the campaign trail. Is he fit to do the job? And I think that's a question that is an open-ended question that he needs to answer.
He can't answer it, Madam Vice President. He can't answer it. He can't answer anything anymore. His brain is fried, okay? This is your brain. This is Donald Trump's brain, okay? And it's a frying egg in a pan. He's done. He's cooked. It's over. The man has exhausted his own self with the lies and the delay and just the incitement and the denial and the court cases and all he ever had to do was go through his trials, get a verdict, and be done with it. Be done with it. Because being a felon, as we learned the hard way, is not a barrier to being the president of the United States. While it is a barrier to serve in the United States military, it isn't a barrier to be commander-in-chief. There's an issue we really need to solve. That's like a loophole that we need to close. And I promise you he has no interest in closing it because he is a felon. 34 felony counts, guilty. All that's been delayed in that case is the sentencing. And it's been delayed till after the election. After the election. But that case has already, met the bar of justice. That case was adjudicated by a jury of his peers in New York. 34 felonies. Yes, guilty, 34 times. And that means he can't serve in the military. But it doesn't mean he can't be commander-in-chief. I don't understand why people would vote for a felon in the first place, let alone in the second place to be commander-in-chief of the United States military, an organization that he is no longer qualified to join. I mean, it's like unbelievable that we're here. It's an amazing thing that this is where we are. You know, it's like the weirdest of the weirdos is running for president, and the weirdo lovers in this country turn out to be like almost half the country. I don't know. I just find it. Anyway, Bret Baier, listen, this is the thing. Bret Baier admitted that he made a mistake today. Yesterday, though, and this is what I want to show you real quick, and then we can, open the phones. You can talk about anything you want for the rest of the show, okay? So 561-270-3844. But I need to show you how this bubble, this fake news organization, it's not news, it's a propaganda outfit run by the Murdochs, okay? It's a very sick, twisted thing that has had an outsized effect on our population and our ability to choose wisely leaders for this country. I mean, it just is. But anyway, yesterday he was. They said, okay, you have 15 hours to think about that interview with Kamala. What do you think? What do you think?
And the man of the hour joins us now. Brett, good morning to you, and thank you for your time this morning.
Good morning.
You've had 15 hours now to marinate over this. What did you think about how it went?
You know, guys, good morning. I left there right after the interview, and I thought, wow, this was really a lot more contentious than I thought. It was there was a lot of filibustering. I didn't really want to keep on interrupting, but if I didn't, I thought there were maybe be 4 answers total in the interview. I think I came away with there were moments that clearly she prepared for, that I think she wanted to have the viral moment, and she got it, and I think her campaign was happy with that. I think there were things that Mark played and some other moments where I think a lot of people looking back at the transcript are going to say, wow, that's interesting, it's newsy, it's not what she usually answers.
Yeah, you had 15 hours to think about the fact that you misrepresented to her what Donald Trump has been repeatedly saying about the American people being the enemy within if they disagree with him, if they run against him, if they talk against him, if a journalist asks him a hard question, okay, he wants them locked up. He wants them locked up. He considers them to be the enemy of the people, and he actually named Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi as being examples of enemies of the people. Also, the news media, of course, is the enemy of the people. And Bret Baier played a clip where he goes, I'm not threatening anybody. But prior to saying I'm not threatening anybody, he said the enemy of the people, for example, Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi, they're enemies of the people. So now all of a sudden Bret Baier is caught dead to rights. 7 million people, which is why that number is so important, which never tune into Fox News. Usually a good night is 3 million. 7 million people tuned into that, and they caught Bret Baier being a liar.
Mary had a little man. The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
I did make a mistake, and I want to say that mistake. When I called for a soundbite, I was expecting a piece of the enemy from within, from Maria Bartiromo's interview, to be tied to the piece from your town hall, Harris, where you asked the former president about the enemy from within. It just had the piece about the town hall, and just take a listen to what I meant to roll.
What you meant to roll.
I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within, not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics, and I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government.
Of more felonies than Alphonse Capone.
My point was that we asked him the question about that sentence and what he was trying to mean.
I mean, that's quite a lie that he's evolved into telling now, the Brett Baier did. Because, you know, when he introduced that clip to Kamala Harris, he said, well, we asked him about that on Harris Faulkner's show today. And the clip that you just heard there, you didn't see it because something's going on with our video, but the clip that we just played for you, he actually says he meant to play the clip from Maria Bartiromo's show. But when he introduced the clip, he said, we asked about that on Harris Faulkner's town hall today. Today. So why is he lying like that? Because he got caught. That's why. And that's what goes on over there. That's what goes on. That's their journalistic integrity on full display. On full display. It's so disgusting. I mean, he actually said, we asked him about that on Harris Faulkner's town hall. Brother David.
Oh, sister, what a Friday.
Yeah.
As I told the chat room, hi chat room, my ballot came in today.
Oh.
As soon as I get off the phone with you, I'm going to take it down to the courthouse.
Mm.
Things are speeding up. And here's the thing. She who can turn the world on with her smile and freeze it with her side eye is literally rally to rally becoming quicker and sharper and more in tune with the people she's talking to. Whereas the other guy, or as I call it, is reminding me that my late mother was a home health care nurse. And among the people she dealt with, because I would drive her to her different, she was taking care of people, I would drive her to the different clients, were 3 different people with tertiary syphilitic syndrome. And I have noticed for literally now 9 years a similarity in symptoms.
So
and
let me ask you
me.
if you ever noticed this, if this is, a true thing about, late-stage syphilis.
Right.
Do you remember when he had stuff on his hands? Is that a symptom of late-stage syphilis?
Yes, and drooling. And certainly the completely erroneous, just rambling out, everything but the drooling at this point. Now, I don't want to say that for sure, but it's just like you think that our Joe planned all along to hand the reins over to her. It's just that gut feeling you have. That's how I felt about this. I think that's what Vlad has on it. I don't think it was PP tapes. I think contracted, and even if you get rid of the spirochete, if it has touched that lobe in the back of the brain, there's nothing you can do. It's in there, and it's just going to slowly eradicate. So, that's just my theory.
Why won't he? I mean, I guess we just answered the question why he won't release any medical records. I mean, Kamala Harris just released medical records. An idiot boy goes on his, failing, sewer that he calls a social media platform and says she is so sick she can't be president because she has seasonal allergies. But he won't submit himself to a medical examination, which probably would show that he has something that is interfering with his cognitive ability. And
cognitive ability.
Right. And so we're surmising that because he's had so much unprotected sex in his life that it might be late-stage syphilis and a syphilitic brain. But we don't know. I just want to say that. We don't know.
We don't know, and I'm not sure I need to know. I know that there's still more of us and that we all have to get out and vote. I'm turning mine over to the courthouse today so I can be a poll watcher on the day.
Yeah.
But there's only one thing I can say: stunning stilettos, perfect pearls, snazzy sneakers, and gorgeous girdles for everyone.
And not just a few.
Love you all.
Bye. So I don't know. We don't know. No one knows because he won't submit himself to a medical exam. He keeps on telling us he took this cognitive test, man, camera, woman, child, whatever. But he won't show us where or who administered or what the real results were or how many times he's taken. He won't, do anything with regard to giving us a clue about, his medical, fitness to serve for another 4 years at 78 years old. That's just wrong. And the reason why it's wrong is because it's obviously to hide something. If he has nothing to hide, why is he hiding everything? That's the age-old question, isn't it? So it is interesting, though, to see him go downhill so completely on TV. Now, we've been watching him for, 9 years now. This man has been running or was president for our entire... I mean, when you think about 19-year-olds, think about that. 19-year-olds only know Donald Trump as the president. They have no other memory of a president and how normal presidents behave, how normal presidents conduct themselves, how normal policy is normally discussed amongst normal people in this country. All they know is him and his way of being combative and telling them that the news is fake and that the media is the enemy of the people and that, he is the one alone that can fix it for you. They don't know any better. They don't know anything different. They don't. They really don't. And they have no idea, no earthly idea who Barack Hussein Obama is. They don't remember his presidency. They certainly don't remember Bill Clinton, which is just a crying shame, because in modern history, the two greatest presidents we had, one that gave us a balanced budget, gave us a growing economy, unless you were in broadcasting. I'll never forget it. I'll just never forget how he trashed my business. I can't get over it. I can't get past it. There used to be hundreds of thousands of jobs like mine, hundreds of thousands of them. And now there's like 10, really, seriously, it's like 10 jobs like this. But it's just really sad. But Bill Clinton gave us a balanced budget. He added 22 million jobs to the economy. GDP was going through the roof. Things were going great. They were going really great. And then we handed it off to W, and he got us involved in a war over there, in a 20-year war over here, and contretemps with torture, created ISIS because we were literally torturing people in prisons and piling them up in pyramids, naked, and writing rapist, misspelling the word, on their thigh, walking them around on dog chains. And our kids don't know anything about this. They really don't. So they have no idea when she says we're not going back, like how bad it could actually get. She's just talking about the most recent Trump administration where people were dying every single day from a virus, where he was sending, valued tests over to his friend Vlad, while we were, trying to figure out what we should do.
All things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
All righty, it's 20th on a Friday. Joyce in California, hello.
Hi there, Randi. How are you doing today?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I was listening to you a little bit earlier. You were talking about the economy. Mm-hmm. You were talking about the presidents, Democratic presidents versus the Republican presidents, and how the working class people, middle class people seem to have it better when we have Democratic presidents, as opposed to Republicans, and how all of a sudden, why are we so low on the totem pole? Now, people, the young children nowadays, they don't remember the President Clinton and Bush and everything. And each time we had a Democratic president come into office, they always had to clean up what the Republicans messed up.
That's what Biden had to do, and people, they forget that when Biden came in, the shelves at Kroger were empty. There was nothing in Pathmark, okay? There were
Exactly.
There was no chicken. Do you remember this? There was nothing on the shelves, okay?
Toilet paper. Toilet paper, running out of toilet paper and all these things.
People were using coffee filters.
Yes, and not only that, the economy and how Trump decided he wanted to take advantage of the economy that Obama left him.
Yep.
People don't realize that Trump didn't do anything for the economy. It was all Obama.
It was.
But people don't want to realize that. People need to know what the real facts are.
They do. Obama laid it out the other day in a nice, brief little 30-second, rant that he had to, and I've been waiting for him to say something that, we had 75 months of growth.
Exactly.
When Obama was president, and Donald Trump, he handed it off to him, this beautiful economy. And what did he do? He froze in the face of a pandemic and trashed it again.
And was responsible for a lot of people dying. People not remembering that. They need to talk about that even more. About all the lives we lost under Trump.
I know.
And we had the Ebola that broke out when Obama was president, and how they got on that and jumped on that. How many people did we lose?
Like 3.
Thank you very much. As opposed to how many we lost under Trump?
1 million.
Thank you very much. But I wish that the people that are out there pulling and polling and everything for Kamala would bring that up. They need to talk about that economy. They need to talk about all the people that died under Trump, and they want to put him back in the office in the White House. I don't even think so.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm so there. That's where I am. Okay, thanks.
I'm gonna let you go, and thank you very much for allowing me to vent.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. James in D.C.
Hello, how you doing today, Randy?
How are you?
Okay. Are you Randy?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Anyways, do
you mean in the English way, or are you asking if it's me?
Yeah, in the Hall Notes way.
In the Hall Notes
Anyways,
way.
don't want to take too much of your time. In the 90s, I worked on putting the tips on your credit cards.
Yep.
And the same things are in your cell phones. And the networks those run over are the most secure networks in the world and have never been hacked to date. And there's no reason at all, and this is information for everybody, that we could not be voting on our cell phones and at ATMs and in banks using those chips. And I believe the only reason we aren't is because paper can be fooled with. And the reason I say that is paper ballots.
They're the best.
They're the worst.
They're the best.
People can burn them if they're securely
no one can
managed,
burn them.
They can be
Counting rooms have cameras in them, which is what we learned. What we've learned over the last 25 years with the let us in and the W crap and everything. Paper is the best way to vote. Vote on paper.
That's counting rooms.
Right.
That's counting rooms.
That's right. And what are they counting? They're
counting
paper ballots.
But things can disappear from where they originate.
Are you looking for a problem that you want to solve? Because this solution, we don't have the problem.
Here's the reason I say this, Randy, is my grandmother's parents died from tuberculosis, and she got shipped to San Antonio, Texas. And there she became friends with another orphan who happened to inherit the land that the first oil was found in Texas, named Katie Mae, something in Tyler. But anyways, my grandmother witnessed people burning ballots for
that doesn't happen.
For Lyndon Johnson.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
This is for Lyndon Johnson, how he got into office, and she had pictures of the guys next to their Woody station wagon.
Lyndon Johnson was vice president of the United States when JFK was shot, and that's how he became president.
No, I'm not talking about
chips in the phone, vote on your phone to paper sucks because LBJ burned ballots, and that's how he became president. All righty. This is what I'm saying. And we're not allowed to teach history. We're not. Really? That's going to be a problem. It's already a problem. Susan in Arkansas.
Hey, Randy.
Hi.
My comment is simplistic here. But, speaking of simplistic, Trump's policies, what few he has, are so simplistic to appeal to people who can't think with any kind of depth or consequences of action.
True.
And my example was, as you were talking about the tariffs on soybeans, not only was it a tax on the U.S. consumer, and then we had to bail out the farmers, but also those contracts went to Brazil, who cleared even more of the rainforest so they could grow soybeans to meet the demand, the new demand from China.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just so many consequences to policies. The things are so involved, and simple-minded people just don't seem to have a concept of unintended consequences.
Which is also why you don't want a leader who, happens on a word like tariff and says, this is my new favorite word and this is what I'm going to do, without having like a serious markup of what the consequences of a 60% tariff on all imports from China would do to our economy, would do for dictatorships, would do. I mean, really, it's so bizarre. But you're right. The reason why he does it is because people like a one-word answer to a complex problem. Yep.
They want to quote the news bite.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. I love your show.
Thank you. I love your call.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Rich in Denver.
Randy, my queen, happy Friday to
Happy
you all.
Friday to you.
Are they going to use with regard to Kevin, do you think they used the Jewish space lasers to burn the ballot?
Yes, most definitely. And they're controlling the weather right now. And you know what they're doing? They know it's Friday, and so it's very cloudy and windy here, and that means that I will not be able to go in my pool.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, it's cloudy here too in Denver. To Brother Dave, I turned in my ballot a couple days ago, and I got a call back from Arapahoe County. It's been counted, and or it's been received.
But
and
they
the
could burn
verified.
it. But they could burn it, Rich.
Right, they can burn it, man. Yeah.
Yeah. What this person doesn't understand is that all ballots are tracked now, and they tell you where your ballot is. They actually inform you.
That's how they do it out here. Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Randy, don't you think it's ironic that he keeps talking about Alphonse Capone when Alphonse Capone died of syphilis and he likely has it?
Oh,
I don't know.
Right. Oh, my God. Yep. See, I love when a listener connects the dots, like our friends in Arkansas.
Clear. 4. Call in, connect. To speak to Randy, call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
Everything's broken. Everything. All right, Vincent in Tennessee. Where are you in Tennessee?
Yeah, I'm in northeast Tennessee.
Northeast.
Churchill.
All right.
Yeah, we went. I went voting. The voting started early.
Yeah.
On October 16th, and it's going to October 30th, I believe.
Okay.
It was a big turnout. I was like, I got to speak to one of the mayors that was running for Mount Carmel. She's a Democrat. It's like I was shocked because she's a Democrat, and I'm hoping that she's up for election again. I hope that she's going to win. We had Gloria Johnson. She was on the ticket. We had Jenkins.
Right. She's running for Senate.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. So did you get to vote for her?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was honored to vote for her.
She's amazing. She really is. The Justins, for people that don't remember, it was the Justins that tried to get a background check law passed in Tennessee after the slaughter of little kids in school in Tennessee. And
yes.
And they were kicked out of the legislature after they had won their elections. And Gloria Johnson was somebody that actually stood up for them, and she got kicked out. So now she's running for Senate from this great state of Tennessee. So I'm thrilled to know that she got at least one vote.
Yes. I think it's going to be very tough. I went to the Democrats, believe it or not, in Johnson City.
Yeah.
And I spoke to one of the gents over there, but I looked around and I said, well, am I the only one here that wants to put out door to door? Myself, if I go, how many doors can I possibly knock on? You know what I mean? Even if I did 1,000, it's not enough. There is problems in Tennessee when it comes to voting. They don't put nothing out. They don't tell you whether the people are Republican.
You know what's so interesting? I think one of the most violent. cities in America is Memphis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Memphis is the Democratic, one of the only Democratic cities out there.
But what I'm saying is that there is this, big crime problem in Tennessee, and you would think that people would understand, what's going on with guns.
Yes, it's a big problem in Tennessee. Yes, and that's all because of Governor Lee telling everyone.
Right,
I went and got my permit. I got my permit.
When you say Memphis is a Democratic, what do you mean by that? If you have a Republican governor, what does a Democratic city mean with regard to crime if there's no gun laws?
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. But Memphis does have the most amount of Democrats, and so does Nashville. Nashville is like one of the few that have, the largest amount. But it's changing. It's changing. In fact,
well, you actually,
Cohen is the.
You'll excuse me, but you don't really have the Tennessee accent that we've, grown to come to love. So, are you an import?
No.
You're from there?
You could say I'm an import. I'm from New York originally. I've been living here for 5 years
so
now.
Why do you say no?
Okay, then I'm an import then.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're living in Northeast Tennessee. You moved there from New York. Why? What was the pull?
The houses were at a better price.
Right.
The taxes are at a better price. Well, you're paying $9,000. You're not paying that in Tennessee. It was also rated as one of the best states to move to because of those reasons. If you were retired, so I worked for the New York City Transit for 30 years, and I wasn't about to stay in New York because I was paying $1,400 for rent. Now that I left, it's up to even higher than that. So why would you want to stay in a state?
I want you to understand that people listening to you, you've just made the case for Republican governance in a state. That's what you've done. That's what you've done.
Well, I'm just telling you the truth. That's just what came out.
Yeah, but the true thing is that you worked for New York Transit, right? They don't have transit in Tennessee. In Northeastern Tennessee, there's no railroad. There's no subway. There's no mass transit. Okay, there's no. I mean, it's just a rural area that you are living in, and there's no services there. So
they have something like accessoride, which is something that the state puts out. They pay for.
So you sound like a Republican.
No. I'm not Republican.
You are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You just made the entire.
I'm not a Republican. I have never been a Republican.
What makes you a Democrat then?
What makes me a Democrat? I've been a Democrat all my life. I voted Democrat.
Yes, but you just complained about every single place that has a Democratic government. You said there's high crime in Memphis because they have a Democratic government. I don't even know what that means, but you have a Republican.
No. I didn't say they had a Democratic
and then you said,
government.
Yeah, you did. You said that there are Democrats there, and that's why there's crime there. And then you said that you left New York because the taxes were too high. So I'm trying to show you that the reason why it's cheap to live in Tennessee is because there's no services there. I mean, how far do you have to go to a hospital?
Why is it that you're attacking me for being a Democrat?
Because you just made a case on my air for it being better in a Republican state. That's why. And I want you to explain.
I had no intentions of doing that. Why would I stay in New York if I got to pay $9,000 in taxes?
Because you want the services there. You want the mass transit. You want the public school system. You want policing. You want.
I'm retired, hon. I don't need that anymore. I can't live in New York City. I can't afford it.
I understand, but you're actually being counter to what you say you want.
Okay, then shoot me then.
No, it isn't okay. Then shoot me. I'm trying to explain to you that you have.
I understand,
that the
but where else
why,
you got to move?
Okay, never mind. See, this is the problem. This is the problem. Everybody's like, I like where I am right now. I really like where I am, but it's all Republican. Well, let me just tell you this, okay? You have no freedom there, okay? You have no medical services there. You probably would wait, I don't know, 25 minutes for an ambulance there. It would be a volunteer ambulance probably. The things that you exchange, okay? Like a school system, a world-class school system, teachers that can afford to live in a home, right? Teachers that can afford to buy a home. You're a transit worker, okay? There's no mass transit there. You make choices. You exchange things for other things. I don't even think he realizes that.
Fatality. This is the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
And the reason some people think, well, I don't know, I remember that economy when he first came in being pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good, because it was my economy. We had 75 straight months of job growth that I handed over to him. It wasn't something he did. I had spent 8 years cleaning up the mess that the Republicans had left me the last time.
That's it.
So just in case everybody has a hazy memory.
Yeah.
He didn't do nothing except those big tax cuts.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Republicans do. This is what they do. They literally ask you to do more with less so that they can move the money to the top 1% of America. Now, Mr. Man that lives in Appalachia doesn't understand what he gave up in order to live cheaply. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't make that choice, but you have to understand what you're giving up when you make that choice, right? And I'm just gonna guess. I don't know. I don't know. But if you were like a New York transit worker, something tells me you got a pension. Because New York State, sort of kind of takes care of people. Sort of kind of takes care of transit workers. Sort of kind of takes care of the sanitary the sanitation workers. And you could thank the Democrats and the movement, the civil rights movement that actually said sanitation workers need to, be paid properly like a union. This is what you give up when you move to a right-to-work state. This is what you give up when you move to a rural place that's, being governed by a Republican. And you're repeating, like, the silly things that people tell themselves about a state that has no gun laws, where people get shot and their children aren't safe and they're not free from gun violence when they go to school. And then you turn around and you vote for the people that stand up for marginal gun laws because you're a Democrat, but you don't understand what you say when you say, well, Memphis is Democrat. And that's why there's crime. You have to smarten up about the talk, because you're there in a red state. Okay, you're there in a red state as a blue state beneficiary, and you know that. And you need to be smarter about how you talk about Democrats versus Republicans. Growth, if you want growth, you want a Democrat. If you want collective bargaining, if you want pensions, if you want a $30 an hour wage, you want a Democrat. If you want to see more housing in places that are crowded so that supply is meeting demand and bringing the price down, so maybe you didn't have to flee New York on your pension, you want a Democrat. That's all I was just questioning you because you were making a case for something you're against. And I wanted you to wake up about the way that you are talking about a red state having a $299,000 3-bedroom home available for you. It's because if you weren't retired and you had grandkids or you had kids or you wanted to live near your family, those kids would not be going to world-class schools with teachers who are getting paid $100,000 so that they could have the house next door to you. See what I'm saying? That's all. That's what I was saying. And even Donald Trump agrees with me.
Just seems that the economy does better under the Democrats than the Republicans. Just seems that the economy does better under the Democrats than the Republicans. Just seems that the economy does better under the Democrats than the Republicans. Just seems that the economy does better under the Democrats than the Republicans. Just seems that the economy does better under the Democrats than the Republicans.
Whoops. Yes, believe him. All right. David in Michigan.
Hey, man, everything you say is always so wonderful. So I started working at 16, and I remember it was $3.50 an hour minimum wage, and I remember turning over my first check, and I was like, "Who the heck is FICA, and why does he get so much money?"
Right.
But my first check was like, "Oh, only $35." But here's the thing, though: I've never been afraid to pay taxes all through my working career. I'm totally happy that I live in a Democratic state for the most part. I mean, Rick Snyder,
For the most part.
he tried to make it cheap, but I cannot stand Republicans in any way, shape, or form. But I would also like to say I'm of age that I remember, in the 70s, my mother, a single mother with 4 children, on welfare. I had cavities. Without the way the government was back then, all my teeth would be gone. You know what I'm saying? When government works better, people are better. Period. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yes, I agree. I don't even think he was talking about taxes. I think he was talking about, the price of housing. It is very expensive in New York. I can't live in New York, okay? I can't. The idea of, why don't you just take all your money and put it in a wheelbarrow, throw it out the window every month is the New York life, okay? It really is. But if you built more housing, right?
Yeah.
You would have a better supply, and supply would be meeting demand, and the price would come down. Now, I get that he's saying, look, I did my thing, I did my part, I worked my whole life, and now I have a pension, okay, because he worked in a state that took care of him, and now I'm going to live in Tennessee. But I just needed him to be a little more cautious, a little more careful, right, about how he is, representing living in a red state as opposed to living in New York.
Yeah.
Which is, so full of services and so full of first-class hospitals and so full of, lots and lots and lots of, benefits to living there. Culturally, there's tons to do. There's free things there's all kinds of stuff to do. And that's the trade. That's the trade. Now, why should you have to trade? Why should you have to do that? If we had good governance at the federal level that was subsidizing you, that was subsidizing first-time homebuyers, that was subsidizing builders who build affordable housing, instead of subsidizing big oil and gas, instead of subsidizing, farmers who lost their markets because of poorly thought-out tariff ideas, we could have a whole society that serves us, the 99%, instead of serves the top 1/10 of 1%, or even the top 1%, or even the top 5%. That was the whole point. Zach in Tennessee.
Hey, Rain.
Hey.
Hey, hello, my friend. Happy Friday.
Happy
I
Friday.
just wanted to. Hey, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to piggyback off of what you said regarding this gentleman in Johnson City, which is about 5 minutes from where I live. And actually, I work in Johnson City. And you nailed it. Living in New York, you're able to, your economic opportunities are so much more abundant. There is no public transport agency that you could work in my area. We have no, railways or subways, anything like that you could build wealth.
So let me ask you this: like, how many hospitals do you think are in Butler or Johnson City? Or
I wanted to get to that. There's actually, it's a region called the Tri-Cities. It's made up of Kingsport, Bristol, and Johnson City. There are mainly 3 hospitals, and those are in the larger areas, the more populated areas. If you live out in the sticks, like where the hurricane hit, you're looking at a 40-minute ride to the hospital.
Yeah.
We have one health company. It's called Ballot. It's a monopoly. It owns most of the hospitals here. So, yeah, you might be able to build up a nice economic base and then slip on down here to take advantage of our low tax system, which creates,
Right. And I was just
obviously
trying to get him to understand that he benefited from being a
Right.
New York worker, from being
Exactly.
from that state, right? From being able to, get a nice hourly wage and overtime pay and, a pension and all that.
Right.
Right. That's all.
That is not available here. And once also you mentioned the cultural benefits. While we have a beautiful natural reserve,
You do.
It's diminishing returns. So, but I just wanted to
It's
piggyback
gorgeous.
and thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
You're welcome, Zach. I will say you have one of the prettiest states in the United States, I think. I've always found Tennessee to be stunningly beautiful.
This area and I'm about 45 minutes from Asheville, which was devastated. You guys got to come down when it reopens.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, thank you. That's all I was trying to say to my friend there. That's all. Kind of brave that you went there, as a New Yorker with that accent. I tried it. You got to sort of fake it till you make it. But listen, it was not a slight against you, not trying to, just wanted you to appreciate.